I'm Mark Visser, aka Sparkus, and I live in Japan. It's winter here in Kyushu, which isn't really that much of a real winter. It does get cold enough, and it gets rather chilly in the house. One big difference between just about every house in southern Japan and most houses in, well, all houses in Canada and the northern US is that there's no central heating. Heating is provided by a couple different methods. One is an electric air conditioner, which is not just for cooling, it also does heat. But it's a little pricey on the electricity. Another, electric carpets. Apparently they're even more expensive. Another one is called a kotatsu, which is a little table, about the size of this table here, but it's got a little electric heater underneath the bottom, and the top comes off, you put a blanket down, put the top back on, and the heat is trapped under the blanket, and people just keep their legs under there. It keeps their legs warm. We have a kotatsu, but it's in the closet. We didn't bring it out this year. One other main source of heating is a stove like this. Or, well, heater. It is a kerosene heater. And it's not working. We bought this about 7 years ago, used it for a couple of years in our previous house where it was a bloody cold house, no insulation, single pane glass. You turn the heater off and the room is as cold as outside in 10 minutes. That was not fun. We haven't used it since. Our house is much warmer, this new house, but Kumiko's feeling a little cold this year, so she wants it out. I brought it out. I put kerosene in it. The thing is, the kerosene was about 6 years old too, and it worked the first day, but then after that wouldn't go again, no matter what I did. I even emptied out the old kerosene, bought new kerosene, put it in. That didn't help. Finally found it today. I stripped it down, took a good look at the Wick, as it's called, and it's bad. It's old. I'm about to do something I have never ever tried before, and most people back in Canada and the US probably would never do, because you've all got central heating. These kind of kerosene heaters are just not used much, or I read they were like, if someone has them, they're an emergency heater only. I bought a new Wick, so I am going to strip down this kerosene heater and change the Wick, and you get to watch me screw it up and laugh at me. I can't guarantee you're going to have the best of views, but we'll see what we can see. I don't know what that was. Whew. We bought this heater, like I said, about 7 years ago, on sale for only around, I think it was like 6,000 yen, because we bought it out of season, pretty much at the end of winter. I just went down to Good Day, a local home center, to ask about what it would take to change one of these, the Wicks. And if we send it back to the manufacturer, they charge 5,250 yen, which is nearly what I paid for the heater. I'm gonna pay that kind of money, I might as well just buy a new one. The other option is to buy a new Wick, which I've done, and change it yourself, which I'm gonna try. And the guy at Good Day was kind enough to say that if I couldn't manage or screw it up somehow, which is always an option, to bring it down and we try and figure it out together. Now, do we take out this silver reflector or something? Possibly. I will not have to strip this down as far as I did last time. About an hour ago, I had this thing down to the base and the burner in the tank. I really wish I had a table to work on. There we go. Oh, and I'll pop the batteries out of the back. And just so there's absolutely no source of ignition. Tank out. Tank guard out. And when you get it open, it's pretty empty inside, actually. Take the front panel off. There is another screw there. Okay, front panel's off. Now I want to take that top part off. Okay. It's so much easier the second time. Remove the switch. Oh, this is neat. Can you see that? Yeah. This is just a standing weight. If the heater tips at all, this falls over, hits the kill switch, heater goes off. So it's just a gravity switch. But also the way you turn it off, for the heater, there's a button that just pushes the gravity switch, and that turns off the heater. I did not know that until I opened this thing up. Switch comes off, and hang down there. This is a piezoelectric switch, you push it, it heats up, gas goes vroom. From this point, I'm putting gloves on. I would like to limit the amount of kerosene I get in my hands because the smell, I can wash my hands 3-4 times and it still smells like kerosene. And I know what you're saying? Try 5! I have. It just takes time to get rid of the kerosene smell when you get it on. Next, some bolts here. Or, well, not bolts, I'm taking the nuts off. The bolts are permanently fixed. Maybe I should call this episode How to Change a Kerosene Heater Wick. It's a pretty boring title, actually. Now this comes up a lot easier the second time. It was really stuck down the first time. And here we have the central column, and this is the wick. Okay, this should be easier than I thought. Oh, come on. Oh, of course, twist. So there we have our wick and our wick holder assembly. Pop the clips out. There's the old wick. It is totally soaked in kerosene. I am not holding it up to the camera. It's dripping. Squish that up. Slide it in. Line up the metal clip. And there. Ow. Probably just put a hole in my gloves. And there we have it. That was not so bad. There's a little bit of crap on this thing. I'll try and not get that onto the wick. Slides back down in. Ooh, I got it. Okay, it's in. And I touched things more with my hands than I really wanted to, so there's going to be a little bit of kerosene smell in some of this stuff. Now, to start putting things back. First this. Okay, no help for it. I gotta wash my hands at least once. Washed, but still stinky. Look at the lens. So we just reverse what we did to disassemble. No, assemble. Simply remove the dis. I know there are songs to wear pants to, but are there songs to assemble heaters to? I'm actually really enjoying myself. I love making things. I also love fixing things if I can do it. And the really fun part about fixing this is that for the most part, I mean, I had some help from the man at Good Day, but for the most part I had to figure it out on my own. Just, taking it apart, figuring out how it works. A lot of fun. The smell is not fun! Next, ignition switch cover. You push the button, it slides out of the way, the electric heater goes in. When you release the button, this cover slides back over the gap and seals it up. From this point, we could light it. Everything is back in the position it needs to be in to burn. 1 second, I'm gonna grab a paper towel and wipe some of the dust out of this thing. 5 or 6 years of accumulated dust on the inside of this thing will not affect its operation in any way, shape, or form, but since I've got this thing open while I'm here kind of thing, might as well, holy crap, clean out what I can. This is still cleaner than one customer's computer when I worked at a computer store. I was working in a store called Uranus Computers. It was a lot of fun. Just the mottos we'd come up with, like you'd be amazed at what comes out of Uranus, and come on and see what you can find in Uranus. Kind of missed that store. We were working across the hall from Digital Extremes, which was the game company that created Unreal. So I made some of the sounds in Unreal. If you look at the back of the book under special thanks, my name is there. Now what do we want to do? We want to put this back in. Kerosene tank shield. Okay, that's that. Now the front, probably a good idea. Slap that back on. Now, okay, we can throw this back in there. And now the heat shield or reflector or whatever you want to call it. Only a base minimum of my blood has gone into this repair. 0 would have been good, but you can't have everything. Part of the thing that amazes me about this whole process is that when I finish putting this back together, it actually looks right. It looks like I haven't actually taken it apart. Okay, well there is a little bit of dried blood on it in a couple places, but it's like scent marking, gotta let people know I was there. I did this. Top plate. One more screw to go. I might as well pop this in first. That in there. Okay, it's in. And it looks decent. Let's put the batteries back in the back. Correct way around is preferable. Okay, let's get you down here for a better angle on this. The moment of truth. Turn up the wick to ignition position. Ignition position. Oh crap. I guess since it failed to go, my moment of truth was a moment of false. Apparently I put something together wrong, it won't move. So, I'm not going to bother showing you the whole disassemble, reassemble thing again, just hang on for a second, I'm going to check it. Okay, it was a real easy fix. I just had the screw that connects the piezoelectric switch to the cover that opens up so the piezoelectric element can touch the wick. It was just down too tight and so it wouldn't swing. So I just had to loosen it, quarter turn or something like that, put the whole thing back together, and now we will have our moment of truth! I swear! That heater's making a really cool echo thing for my voice. Echo chamber. Hey! Can you hear that? That's cool. The moment of truth. There's the new wick coming up. I really should put that top piece on, but I want to see it actually. Boom. Shoom. Whoosh. Holy moly. And we have smoke. I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that the old Wick was the problem with the heater. Oh yeah. Okay, let's try that again. Push button. Oh, right. Turn dial first, dumbass. Push button. Wait for flame. And we have kerosene heat. Ah, warmth. Actually, I can't really feel any yet. So we were thinking we might have to buy a new heater, but thankfully that is not the case. We're good. I hope you enjoyed seeing me getting my hands dirty. I actually really enjoyed doing this, except for the smell. Other than that, this was a lot of fun. If you like what you see, click the thumbs up. You know, click that stinky, kerosene smelling thumb right up. If you feel so inclined, post a comment down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, well, probably not exactly like this, because this is the first time I've ever done it, and hopefully the last time for quite a few years, subscribe to my channel. I'm Mark Visser, aka Sparkus. I hope to see you back here for another I Live in Japan very soon. And hopefully it'll be a nice and warm I Live in Japan, because we have heat. I'm Mark Visser, aka Sparkus, and I live in Japan. It's winter here in Kyushu, which isn't really that much of a real winter. It does get cold enough, and it gets rather chilly in the house. One big difference between just about every house in southern Japan and most houses in, well, all houses in Canada and the northern US is that there's no central heating. Heating is provided by a couple different methods. One is an electric air conditioner, which is not just for cooling, it also does heat. But it's a little pricey on the electricity. Another, electric carpets. Apparently they're even more expensive. Another one is called a kotatsu, which is a little table, about the size of this table here, but it's got a little electric heater underneath the bottom, and the top comes off, you put a blanket down, put the top back on, and the heat is trapped under the blanket, and people just keep their legs under there. It keeps their legs warm. We have a kotatsu, but it's in the closet. We didn't bring it out this year. One other main source of heating is a stove like this. Or, well, heater. It is a kerosene heater. And it's not working. We bought this about 7 years ago, used it for a couple of years in our previous